Hello and welcome to today's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're continuing our series of looking at puzzles that we should have looked at when they were originally released. Now this one came out a couple of months ago on Logic Masters Germany, and in fact Tharn, who's the author, actually wrote to us about it, and I'm not sure why this never appeared on the channel, because the testing reports on this one are really, really good. And indeed, it comes with quite an interesting backstory. So this is based around some concept in mathematics called a young tableau. Now, no, I've never heard of a young tableau either. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and basically it seems to be some collection of squares, like these, for example, in these cages, where you have to arrange the digits in the cage in a particular way. And that, if you do it in a particular way, it's called a young tableau. And Tharn has basically designed this puzzle around that property. So when I read the rules, you'll see what I mean. But it sounds fascinating, and the testing reports say that this is actually quite an easy puzzle. Hope so. Well, one of the testers said that this could almost become a new puzzle type, you know, like as popular as Sudoku, because it's so simple but interesting. You'll see what I mean. Let me read you the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Within cages, digits must increase from top to bottom along columns and increase along rows from left to right, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. And that's it. So I think what that means is that each of the cages operates a bit like a sort of weird two-dimensional thermometer. So as we go down this cage, the numbers have to increase. As we go across left to right, they have to increase. But they don't have to... You know, it doesn't have to be in this order. It doesn't have to sort of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if I understand it correctly. Because it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like that, for example, I think. So, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. Now I get to play Let's Get Cracking. And, well, I mean, my eyes are drawn to the 9-cell region, because that must be where we start, surely. And surely in the 9-cell region, given it's got a 1 in it, you cannot put the 1 anywhere but there. Because if you do, I mean, let's try and put the 1 somewhere else. There'll always be a cell either above it or to the left of it that would have to be a lower digit. And you can't put a lower digit than 1 into a Sudoku. So I think this is a 1. And now presumably 2 must be in one of those squares. And 3, no, you see, now it's going to get tricky. Because where's 3? And I think, if this is 2, so if this is 2, 3 could be here. If this is 2, no, you can't put 3 here, can you? You can't put 3 here because one of these 2 squares would therefore be higher than 3. So 3 doesn't go there. So if this is 2, that's 3. And if this is 2, that's 3. So 3 sort of has 2 positions, I think. Oh no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Because you can put 3 in one of those as well. Oh, good grief! Don't pencil mark 3s. That way madness lies. Maybe 9s then. So 9 must either be here. That could be 9, couldn't it? Because then this square would automatically be lower than 9, and that just meets the criteria. The numbers have to increase down the column. And then 8 would be over there somewhere, probably here. So that could be 9. Or this could be 9, I think. I don't think 9 could be here, because this would need to be 10, because coming down this column, this would need to be higher. So 9's in, I think, in one of 2 places. I'm far from sure, but I think that feels right. No, hang on, I haven't looked at this cage at all, and I've just realised that's an 8-cell cage. So given that this is a 1, you can't put... I mean, there's nowhere 1 can go in this cage, is there? Because if we try and put 1 in any of these squares, there'll always be a cell above it that should be a lower digit. So this cage is full of the digits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, which means 2 presumably is the sort of, it's the 1 of this cage, so that must go in the top left corner. Now 9 in this cage must, yes, 9 has to go here. I'm saying this as if I'm really certain of it, but it must do, because if you put 9 there, that would have to be higher. If you put 9 anywhere else, there's always a higher digit, so that is 9. 3, therefore, must be in one of those squares, because 3 is a bit like 2 in this cage. I'm enjoying this so far, it's quite interesting. Right, now, what do we do next? I think I know. Presumably we look at this cage, which is a 7-cell cage, and noting that neither of the top 2 cells can be 1 or 2. Now you can never put 1 or 2 further down, because there'll always be a higher cell that needs to be lower. So this cage must have 3 in the top left corner, and 4 in one of those 2 positions, and it must contain... Oh no, it must contain a 9, you rotten thing. And I was about to say... You know, I was about to think I could put the 9 there, but I can't. The 9 could be here, and the 9 could be there. Oh, bobbins. Right, okay, that doesn't work. Now 3, though, is ruled out of those squares in this box. So where can 3 go? 3, we worked out 3 couldn't go there. There's no way 3's in either of those 2. So 3 must be in exactly one of those 2 positions in the 9-cell cage. No, hang on. 3 is ruling itself out of there. There we go. So 3 goes here. That might bounce back over there, and does, and goes here. And now this square must be lower than 3, which means it has to be the 2. Therefore, that's not the 2. And now 4... Now surely, yeah, this is interesting, because now that sort of resets the cage. We can almost view this now as a new cage. So we must put 4 in the top left-hand corner of it. And now 9 can't go here, so 9 goes there in that cage. 9 can't go here now by Sudoku, so 9 must go here. That can't be 4, it seems, anymore, so 4 must go there. Now, okay, so now let's come back to this cage and ask where 4 is. Now 4 could have been here, but 4 can't be there because this can't be 1, 2 or 3, so 4 must be there now. And now we're sort of making our... Now 4 is in one of those 3 squares, sorry, 3 is in one of these squares as well. Maybe I look at 5 now, do I? So 5 is in one of these 2 squares in the 9-cell region. It could be exactly here or exactly here in the 7-cell region, and exactly here or exactly here in the 8-cell region. Now, do any of these line up? No, of course they don't. Yeah, Sudoku. Let's not forget Sudoku. Where does 9 go in box 4? Only there. So 9 in... this is nice. So 9 in box 1 is now forced, because it's in a cage, and it can never be in the top left of a cage. It must be there. So 9, nope. 9 can't go there, because that would require this to be a 10. So 9's in one of 2 places in box 3, and therefore down there in box 9. Right, here's another thought. Where does 1 go in box 4? Given we can't put 1 in this cage, and we've got a 1 there, 1 must go here. Now, yeah, this is interesting. Now, where does 1 go in box 5? It can't go here, because it would repeat in the 9-cell cage. It can't go there, because that would require this to be a 0. So the 9, I think the 1 goes in one of 2 places, and now we can place it in box 6, because it can't go in the cage. So that's a 1. This is a very interesting little puzzle. It's not difficult so far. I don't know if it'll get harder. It might, in fact, my intuition tells me it might get easier. Because as we get more and more digits, I think they'll sort of cascade. But it's definitely interesting. Now, what can we do next? Maybe twos. I haven't really thought enough about twos, I feel. In fact, yeah, here's an interesting thought. Where does 2 go in box 6? It's got to go in that domino, because it can't repeat in a cage. There's another interesting point here, is that whichever digit this is has to go in there as well, because it can't repeat in the cage. And that can't be a 1. So there's a sort of correspondence. I'll shade those in. So 2 now has to... 2 can't be there because you can't go 1, 0. So 2's in one of those 2 squares at the bottom. Sorry, I'm stuck now, aren't I? This is never a good sign. Where can we look next? 9 maybe? No, I don't like the look of 9s in that box. I think that's an inefficient way. Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous. Where does 9 go in box 2? It can't go there or there. It can't repeat in a cage, so that rules out both of those. So 9 goes exactly there, which places 9 in box 3. Now, what shall we do next? I have no intuition about which digits to look for. Let's think. Maybe 2 in this region. 2, yeah, 2 can't go there. If 2 goes in this top region, because 1 is unavailable, the 2 would have to go in that position. So 2 is locked into just 2 places in box 1, which is a little bit interesting. Okay. So, 1 could never go in those squares. 1 can't go here. Oh, you see, I do have no intuition about this. Where does 1 go in that box? So you can see Sudoku rules it out of here, and the funny rule rules it out of here. Now, the funny rule also rules it out of this domino, because you can never have the 1 on the right hand side of any of these cages, because that would require a 0 on the left hand side of whichever box you choose. So the 1 is in one of those 2 squares, which means now this can't be a 1, because that would require that to be a 0. So we've now found a 1-9 pair down here, which might be good. Let's get rid of the 9 in the corner now. This columns needs 5s, 6s, 7s and 8s. I'm almost tempted to have a list of those. Let's put that in and just see if the weird cages do anything to this. So yeah, this can't be 8, because that would require us to put 9 here, which we definitely can't do. So this square has to be higher than this square, which means it does have to be 6, 7 or 8. So it is probably worth doing this. This operates a little bit like a 2-cell thermo, doesn't it? In the sense that we can't have 8 at the top, because that would require 9 beneath it. And by the same token, we can't have 5 here, because that would require us to have 4 or something here. Okay, maybe it's not great then. Oh, we can do a cheeky bit of logic though. This square can't be 5, because if that's 5, what are we going to put in those 3 squares? And the answer is 6, 7 and 8, which will break that square. So that's a bit cheeky. We can get rid of 6, 7, we can get rid of 5 from here, and now we ask the question where 5 goes, and it can only go there. Which means this now is a 2-5 pair using the power of purple, which means these squares now are 6, 7, 8, again forming a little bit of a 2-cell thermo, we've got to make sure this is not 8, and we've got to make sure that is not 6 by the same token, because obviously if this is 6, this has to be lower, which it can't be. So we've now got a 6, 7, 8 triple here. This 5 is ruling itself out of that square. Oh, now we can ask where 5 goes in this column. Look, it's got to go here. It's the only place available. 5 is... Oh, look, and this 5 is doing work. Look at row 3. That can't be 5 anymore, which seems to say that must be the 5 in the 9-cell region. This can't be 5 anymore, which says 5 must go here in the 7-cell region. And that might be useful. Or not. I don't know. These squares are now a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quintuple. So we still need to put 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s in this column. I will pencil mark that in a slightly good lift manner. Forgive me. Now these... Yeah, now the 9-cell region. Look, we've got 6s, 7s and 8s to put into these squares. But we can do thermo work. That can't be a 6 or this will be higher. That can't be a 6 or this will... Oh, so the 6 goes there. Sorry. Yes, and now because we know there's no 1 and 2 in this region, and we know that the 6 is the next low digit to place, the 6 either sort of goes here or there. We know it must be in one of those two positions because it can never go there, because this would have to be lower, which it can't be. So the 6 now must go there, which means this is a 7-8 pair, which must be in that order. Good lord, it's so strange. That becomes a 6 by Sudoku. That square's a 7 by Sudoku. That's not a 7 anymore, which means 7 does live in the domino at the top. Don't know if that matters. Okay, the 5 here looks nice. That's going to give us the 5 and the 2. Can we get either of those? Oh, this 6 is now useful as well. So that becomes 8, that becomes 7. And now these 3 squares are 2, 3 and 4. And we can do a little bit of 1-cell thermo work on these 2. I do see why this puzzle could have longevity. That one, oh, bobbins, no, that one we can't do anything with. Because I think it can be 2, 3 or 4. This is always having the option to be a lower digit. But we do have a bit of a restriction on those squares, which are 1, 6 and 8. A little bit anyway. 1, 6, 8. Can't see my keyboard, it's too dark. It must mean there's a storm coming. There's a storm brewing. Now, let's think. That can never be 1 because it would require a 0 here, so that gets us the 8. And this can't be 6 because that will always be lower. So that in fact we do get the order of those, which is nice. 6 now. 6 is one of those 3 positions. 8 is also one of those 3 positions. So we can immediately now say that... Oh no, we can't say anything. I was about to say we could say things about this domino. I don't think we can. In fact, that could even be 8 with that being a 9. Rotten thing. Right, okay. Now we can say things. Now we can say things. That can't be 4, in fact. Oh, so that is 4. This just has to be higher than 2 or 3, which shouldn't be difficult for it. But now let's look at this. We can't put 9 here. And we can't put 6 here. And that doesn't do anything. Okay, well, never mind. That 9 is absolutely useless. This 8 is not that useless. So we've now got a 6, 7 pair in the 4-cell cage here. This 7 is done. That's got to be... Ah, that's an 8. That gives me a 6 over here. Good. Doesn't disambiguate the 8 and the 9, though. Let's check this column though, because we still have to put 2s, 3s and 7s into it. What we can't do is put 2 here. And or 3, because this has no possibility. This sees 1, 2 and 3, so that's got to be 7. Which, that's lovely. So that gets me the 7 and the 6 over here. I think with a bit of practice you could get quite quick at these. This is a 6, this is a 2 by Sudoku. This 2 is not very helpful though, so we need 1s, 7s and 8s. By Sudoku, that's an 8. This is a 1-7 pair. That might be interesting for 1s, which have to now appear in one of these 2 squares and can't ever go here in a cage. So the 1 goes there. Those squares up there have got to be 4 and 5, which that doesn't seem to be resolved. I'm probably missing something there. That seems to, yeah, that they both seem to be fine actually in their positions in their cages. Now in this row we need 1s, 3s and 8. That's nice because this definitely can't be 1 or 8. So that's a 3. That makes that a 2, that a 1. This should be whatever it was we were missing, an 8 I think. This is a 3 or a 4. There's no cage to help us up here though, so we'll have to rely on something else. These are 1s and 5s. Well, where can the 1 go? Only here. 1s and 5s go in. This column needs 2 and 7, which we know the order of because this basically is a bit like a thermo. That fixes the 7 and the 1 and the 1 and the 9 and the 9 and the 8. So we get a little flurry of activity. That's 8 by the power of Sudoku. We need 4, 5 and 6 in this column. That must be 4 then. And that fixes the 4 and the 5. Good, I was wondering how that got fixed. This becomes 6, that becomes 6. And I think we might be doing okay. So we still need 2s, 3s and 7s in this row. So the only place 7 can go is here. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, I see this 2 is going to fix everything. And we get the additional comfort that that forces the correct ordering of this 2 and 3. This should be a 2 then, and we can just thermo this with 3s and 5s, so that should be in that order. Those 2 squares are 4 and 5, which we can... Oh, I was about to get worried, but they are not in a cage, so that doesn't disturb the order of the world. That's a 4, that's a 4, that's a 3, that should be a 3, and that should be a 2, and I think I clicked it. Yeah, that's how to solve it. Now let's check that we haven't made a ricket in any of these cages, because it's very possible that, oh goodness me, it's quite difficult to check them. 1, 4, yeah, it's definitely going up that way, it's definitely going up that way, and it's going up, 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 up. So the 9 cell cage looks correct. Yeah, that looks okay as well. This one's going up, that one's going up, 1, 2, 7, 1, 5, 8, and this one, yes, 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 yes. I think it's correct. That's great. I love that. Tharn, take a bow. That's a very, very original puzzle. Really fun, I will say that. And I think we'll see more of those. I really do. Let me know in the comments whether you enjoyed it. And yeah, how fancy to use something from weird calculus to create a Sudoku puzzle that didn't feel like weird calculus. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.